Hello and welcome to the program. I am DEJI36O. Merry Christmas. Now, the unending drama surrounding the 2021 Electoral Amendment Bill continued with its twists and turns when President Muhammadu Buhari refused assent to the legislation last week. In a letter to the National Assembly, President Buhari explained that the prevailing situation in the country will not allow him give a nod to the bill. Among other reasons, the president cited high cost of conducting direct primaries, the security challenge of monitoring the election, violation of citizens' rights, marginalization of small parties as some of the reasons now he declined assenting to the bill. He also added that signing the bill into law will cause trouble among the political parties in the country. Now, President Buhari further says adopting direct primaries also has implications on the rights of citizens now to participate in the government as constitutionally ensured. He says the proposed amendment is not a healthy process for the sustenance of multi-party democracy in the country. He maintained that political parties should decide the best way to pick their candidates for elections, saying his stance was based on careful review and consultations. He's now asked the National Assembly to look at the direct primary clause, work on it, and return the document to him for his assent. Although the Nigeria Governors Forum has sided with the president, saying he did the right thing by withholding his assent to the legislation, however, national lawmakers have expressed dissatisfaction with the president's action, arguing that his reasons are not cogent. Some lawmakers are even calling on their colleagues to override the president's veto and pass the bill. While we wait and see how the National Assembly deals with the president's veto, let's discuss this further. I'm now being joined on the program by Libros Oshoma, who is a legal practitioner and also a political analyst. Libros, thank you very much for coming on the program, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You're just in the mood.
Yes.
Look, somehow, I would say some people expected the president was going to veto this bill. So not a surprise that he's done so. But let me get your take now on some of the reasons the president advanced in, declining his assent to this bill.
Yeah, first and foremost, for the first time, I take side with the president on that clause, the direct or indirect primaries. The amendment contains, the bill actually contains beautiful amendment. But apart from that controversy, I think section 73 or so, on direct primaries for all political parties in Nigeria. For me, I had consistently disagreed with that provision. Let's leave the primaries, political parties' primaries, the way it was before. Let the political parties determine, how they want to conduct their primaries, whether direct or indirect. It shouldn't be the affairs. It shouldn't be a one straight, jacket fits all. There are some political parties that don't have the funds to conduct primaries in all wards and all states of the federation.
Which is quite true.
Yes, they usually, have use a delegate system where they come to nominate delegate that will come to Abuja and then elect whoever they want to elect as a candidate to flag their flag. And so be that as it may, it also makes it easier for the electoral umpire INEC to actually, monitor the process. Assuming, without conceding though, that all the political parties are conducting primaries on the same day. That would be
yes, I was going to ask that look, if you adopt a direct primary now, and if all the political parties were supposed to conduct, even if they were not conducting on the same day, but conducting within the same period, the same week,
the same
for
time
instance,
frame.
how would INEC be able?
That would be a very difficult one for
yes.
INEC to do. That would mean INEC might end up not monitoring some parts.
And in this case now, we still do not know what the cost of conducting, monitoring those.
It is, for me, it is like conducting a general election before the general election. And then, you can't even conduct a primaries. We're talking about credibility, because I listened to argument of some of my colleagues and they made it look as if, this direct primaries is actually what we cure all the electoral malpractices that we have. How do you discuss direct primaries and you're not talking about the register? When INEC
register political
parties
to identify who
exactly. When INEC started the process of ensuring that electoral elections are transparent, they started with the register. Remember, Jega came and said, look, we need to clean the register. We need to have a credible register.
That's the register of voters.
The register of voters. So how do you now discuss direct primaries for political parties when the political parties don't even have registers? I can tell you now, the bandy register they talk about
having 6
membership drive and the rest. Look at even the president in 2018, August 2018, where they conducted their primaries before the general election. The president scored about 14-point-something million votes. But in the general election, he scored 15 million votes. So does that mean that even in the general election, it was only APC members? How about people that are not members of political party? In Lagos here, we saw the primaries conducted, in 2018 before the general election. And we saw how the direct primaries went. Even in Anambra recently, we also saw the so-called direct primaries where Andy Obaf pulled 400 and something thousand votes. And only for him to score 50-something thousand votes in the general election. So what that means
could we also argue that maybe these political party members do not have voter cards or something?
What I am trying to say, you can't be a member of a political party and you participate in nominating your candidate and then not, participate in the general election that will ensure that he gets into office. Another thing for me is the fact that whether direct or indirect, it is the same process in Nigeria. Both processes, are manipulated by the political parties. What is basically at play here? It's not about the average Nigeria. It's not about you and I. It's a part also for the soul of the political party between the governors and the lawmakers. That is why across board, be it APC, be it PDP, the governors are united on one end, while the lawmakers are united on the other end. So I don't want anybody to give me that story of, oh yes, it will make our election transparent. If we have sincere leaders, if we have sincere process, whether direct or indirect primaries, once we truly put structures in place that will enhance transparency, the elections will be transparent. And that's why, for me, I think what we should be debating should be how we can remove that clause, revert it back to the status quo, empowering the political parties to conduct election, either direct or indirect. And then let's concentrate on the electronic transmission of results.
That takes me to the next question. Do you think, from the way the lawmakers have reacted, obviously not happy, and of course they've deferred discussion on it to January. You heard some of the lawmakers say they've been able to gather signatories. Up to over 70, for instance, in the Senate, that they intend to override the president's veto. How do you see that playing out in the National Assembly?
Let's understand a few things here. There are some lawmakers who got to the National Assembly by virtue of supports from the governors, while there are some who got to the National Assembly by virtue of support from, financial backers outside of the political structures. There are some who have been promised tickets to return. So I do not believe that the lawmakers are all united and unanimous on this. The ones that, have the support of the governors would definitely toe the line of the governors to say, look, let's leave it the way it was, because they know definitely that their return is guaranteed. But the other ones that do not enjoy such robust relationship with the governors and the party hierarchy will definitely kick against it, because they believe that in their area, in their sphere of influence, they can easily also influence party members in their area. Take a senator, for example, who controls his senatorial zone, and he knows that the party members, if the party members, all the party members in his senatorial zone are allowed a direct primaries, they will always vote for him higher and above every other member. We always support a direct primaries, unlike one who believes that the governor would, manipulate the delegates to, ensure that he emerges as a candidate. So that's why I do not believe that all of them will be unanimous on this, and so it will be difficult for them to veto that law. Take Lagos State, for example. Most of the lawmakers, got to the National Assembly by virtue of the support from the political leaders. And so if you ask them to go to the feed to campaign. Some of them might not even return. So those one ordinarily would not want a situation where you say direct or indirect.
Just before we go, let me quickly ask you this. Why do we have to amend electoral law anytime an election is approaching? I don't understand
For me, it is first and foremost election, and the only thing, like we say, that is constant, is change. And consistently, we need to upgrade and review our system. But what the problem for me here is that, if you remember, in 2013, we had Electoral Act Amendment. No, in 2003, the 2003 general election, we had Electoral Act Amendment 2002.
Yeah.
In the 2007, we had 2006. In 2011, we had 2010. In 2015, we had 2015, just a few months to the election. The end of
in 2019, it was just because of some disagreement that
the president said the time was too short because it was a few months to the election.
Yes, we would have had one.
So for me, we forget that the end of one election cycle begins another one. So that's why, if there are innovations that we need to make, we should be timeous enough to ensure that the lapses that were noticed in the previous election, we quickly correct them. There are some that we don't really need laws to correct. Even this electronic transmission that we are discussing, that we are shouting about, it has been covered by the Section 160 of the Constitution. Empowering INEC to conduct election in the way and manner they deemed fit. That was why in 2019, INEC said they had a server. So was it part of the Electoral Act when INEC said they had a server? Was it part of the electronic transmission where they conducted election in Edo?
It's a good thing that we have it now in the electoral law. At least, maybe lawyers like you would not.
For me, the thing is, let's have the... It is not lack of laws that is our problem. The willpower. Let's have the willpower and agree that we need to move forward and we need to ensure build structures and transparent process. But if we keep having this back and forth about people, what we are dragging here about direct or indirect primaries is not about structures or process. It's about the people, whether they will return or who controls the party. If we keep doing that, we'll consistently be amending our laws just to suit a few persons.
And unfortunately, it appears in this case, the problem of the big political parties have suddenly become the problems of the smaller parties.
Yes, the smaller parties, whether they like it or not, some of them have pretended to say, look, we have always conducted direct primaries. I challenge any of the smaller parties to come out and show us register of direct primaries they conducted in all the wards of the federation, in all the local government of the federation that they've conducted. You can say they conducted congresses, and then from there had delegates that eventually went to Abuja. But to say that they conducted direct primaries on the same day in every ward of the federation, let them come out and show me.
Liberals, thank you very much for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Do have a wonderful Christmas and
yes, we're all in the mood.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
Prosperous one.
Thank
and let's hope Nigeria gets better in the new year.
Definitely.
That's the prayer. Well, we'll take a short break now and we'll be right back.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the president of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI36O, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI36O, dissecting the issues.